All right, so I wanted to update everybody on the new case that I just filed and on the other case against YouTube Google LLC and where we are with that. Because there's been some interesting things go on, nothing earth shattering, but some things that make me think about what might go on in the future, and also how that ties into Telegram also. And I want people to understand as much about the legal stuff as possible, because I think sometimes I just say things assuming people are looking at it the way that I'm looking at it, and I don't explain it very well. So let me try to do that here. So I went with the Mandamus action again against Telegram Messenger Inc. And I'll explain why. And I'll not be able to tell you everything for certain reasons, which I'll relay, but it'll be enough that you know what's going on, and then I can update you later. So first of all, what I've been thinking about doing before, because that ties into it. I've been thinking before that, when YouTube and Google LLC decided that they wanted to do an investigation until December 18th and then come to a conclusion, and if we reach a settlement or a conclusion where we both agree with the one thing, bird clock. Which one is that? It's not on the right bird. It says magpie, but that's not a magpie. Okay. So first of all, the original thought that I had about the Telegram case was that I would just start looking into it, but let it kind of be on the back burner. I thought it would be good to just do one thing at a time, but right now we're not litigating with the YouTube Google case. So I was doing a little research, and my original thought had been, December 18th, they'll come to a conclusion. And for anyone who doesn't know about that, they agreed to waive service and investigate the case until December 18th. And if they agree with me on what should go on and that it is a matter of law, they will deplatform the fugitives. I took everything else off the table, by the way. I had asked for a subpoena to be given to law enforcement or to myself. And I can do that by way of law, but I've found even better law now that's going to change what I do with Telegram. So I'll explain that as well. But I took everything off the table but deplatforming them. And I even stated that mainly I want Goatis Lagston's deplatformed. I don't know that I can demand by way of law that Marina Abdullah be deplatformed, but considering that she's a wanted fugitive and any money that goes to them while they evade arrest would go to him as well, they're together, that's something to be considered. And I haven't looked real heavily into that aspect of that, but, namely, I made it clear to them that what might get this out of their hair is to get him off, because he's the main person that's committed crime on their platform and been deplatformed there already before, which violates their terms of service. And then the fact that the scams violate FTC law and so on and so forth. So they're looking into that. And they've been the main lawyer for that case has been very friendly and amicable toward me, which to me is a good sign that they, just don't have a really contentious attitude or anything toward you. So that's good. And I decided, though, that instead of waiting till December 18th, when we might even be having to start litigation, I would go ahead, if there was something I could file, and use what's already going on to help and get the same process going with Telegram, because the sooner we get these people off of these platforms and also any identifying info relayed to law enforcement, the better. So I looked a little more heavily into it, and I thought, the British Virgin Islands look really promising. So since I didn't go with them, I can go ahead and tell you about that. So I thought, they speak English. They have one of their larger offices is there, so that would establish jurisdiction. And so let's try this, So the only kind of suit I could do there that would really fit with me as a third-party witness to crime would be an order for performance. So that's like a mandamus action, but it's different. The way that it's different is that it really relies on you have to have a stake in the case. So it's not like you can just witness something. So to have a stake in the case, it's not as difficult as you might think. It really just means that I have to be a Telegram user. I have to be under contract with Telegram to care about the fact that they're violating their policies and or violating the law. And because if I didn't have that and I just witnessed that they were doing that, you couldn't file an order for performance suit that way. Whereas with a mandamus action, if you witness crime, you don't have to be a YouTube user. And when you look them up, you can get some information that's inaccurate or omits some things that are kind of important. So you have to be careful. You find out that like their main places of operation, besides the United Arab Emirates and that type of place, would be Greece or the British Virgin Islands. And so obviously, with that being the case, you would think, well, the British Virgin Islands would be the easiest for me to deal with because they speak English. But it's really not that easy, and there's several reasons for that. One would be, like little procedural things that go on with courts. They're time consuming when it's in your own country. It's easiest always when you operate out of your own state because you can just go over there. And if you have a question about, why wasn't this filing accepted? Is there a special formatting rule for this? You can actually ask them. You can have them look at it, and then you go redraft it or whatever. But if you're operating not only outside of your state, but outside of your country, it gets really complicated. You have a question and you can't easily ask. You have to wait for the answer to be mailed to you, emailed to you, and stuff like that. So that would get really complicated. And what I decided to do, though, because at first I thought that was my best option, I'll just register with their court system. So I did that. And I noticed it said that you can be arbitrarily kicked out from registration and not allowed to e-file. So I answered all their questions and everything, and they sent me a very cordial response. But it was that you are not going to be allowed to register here. But then they had some rigmarole of how you could possibly do it and these different places to contact. So I guess they have a protocol for people that are outside of their country trying to pro se litigate. But I knew that would be really difficult. So I started looking for American places where we would have some jurisdiction possibly. And I found places. So I don't want to go into that right now, only because the motion to seal is not in effect yet. I did send it. So until that's in effect, if they upload anything, it could be publicly available. So I just know that I picked a court where we have, all the applicable laws and jurisdiction over Telegram. So there's no reason why this court couldn't take the case. There are two that could. There is a possibility they'll kick it over to the other court or tell me that I have to do it there. But the court system it's in is the right one. And I think there's definitely enough applicable law for it to be fine right where it is. So the suit has been formally filed by way of mail. And I sent the service to Telegram by way of mail too. So certified mail. So I have the two things here. So both Telegram and the court have received the writ of mandamus action and the motion to seal. And both are aware that I want my information kept private. And by that, I just mean I cited exactly what I want kept private, which is just my address and phone number and anything identifying they have about me, financial information, date of birth, things like that. And for very good reason, which I cited. So I had some snags in filing this with the system that I'm in, the state that I used. One was that their court system, it says that you can e-file as a pro se litigant. So I started with one type of court, which was, I'll just say that it was a superior court. I don't think it would be compromising to just say that. And I had everything ready and written up for superior court, met their rules and all that. You register on the court system. That part was fine. But then you go to their drop down and you can't e-file if you're a pro se litigant. So it looks like you can in a district court in the same state. So, and both of those courts would be fine for this type of case. So I decided to redraft it for that and just make the changes that you would need to submit it there. Some more applicable laws and changing, your heading and all that. And I did that. And I go to submit it, and literally every court in that system, except for that one, allows pro se litigants to e-file. So I finally called them up to see if because it said on a case-by-case basis, and the lady told me that you cannot e-file there. So that actually ended up being wrong. There is a way to do it, and that will help me in the future. But it's okay that happened because I needed to mail stuff to Telegram anyway. They have to be formally served by way of mail. This time, I did e-serve them just like I did Google and YouTube, even though I knew that they would probably require formal service. But that's just to put it in their face that you're about to get some papers and here, this suit is coming your way. And then what Google and YouTube did is I think they looked it up because I had a case number by then and everything. I don't have one right now yet, but I did go ahead and email them at their little abuse at Telegram email address, which is kind of the only one they have that you can use to contact them. And I made them aware, and I also made them aware of the danger that I don't want them sharing my information. And then if they did, then I'll be litigating them over that. So I also want to apologize for not making more content. Those little dippy do movies, as bad as they are, they do take up a lot of time. So, and I do have funny ideas about things that I could have them saying and doing. So I'll try to do a little bit of that when this isn't going on. This should have been over like Monday or Tuesday, because Sunday is when I drafted the main thing and I thought I've got it all done. I just need to do a motion to seal and get it uploaded, and nope. And then Tuesday, nope. And then Wednesday, it was Wednesday or Thursday, we had some weather that kept me from, I needed to get something notarized too. So I had to go elsewhere to do that. And so we had a bad weather day in between. So it was just a lot of delays. By the very end of the week, I got it done. So that delays finding out about things. It's 1 to 5 days. It usually should take about 3. So I'm thinking by Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, I'll know if this was accepted. Also, what I told you about e-filing. So I found out that pro se litigants in the district court, and to be fair, the lady that told me that was in the superior court, and I figured she'd know about both of them, and getting on the phone with courts can take up a lot of time, so I didn't call district court. I just went ahead and mailed it, so I'd be done with it, because I had to mail a telegram anyway. So, but now they have a thing where in their state you have to go through this rigmarole of watching videos and proving up that you like little tests where you prove up that you know what they want for their filings. And then after you do that, you file a motion to e-file and call a number, and they allow you on there. So when I want to upload exhibits or anything else that goes on, like correspondence with their attorneys or whatever, if they contact me, I'll be able to do it electronically. So that'll make that a lot easier. So it's kind of obvious why I chose to file this in the United States. And since we are doing fairly well with the Mandamus action here, with the other case, I figured it was a good method for this one. Now, Telegram, I wanted to talk about them a little bit. Telegram are known for, of course, getting in the way of investigations. In fact, the owner of Telegram has been arrested multiple times for getting in the way of investigations of things as bad as human trafficking and things like that. So that being said, it's not like they're necessarily going to roll over out of the kindness of their hearts and say, wow, thanks for telling us this, lady. Woohoo, we're going to go do something about it right now. Not necessarily. So that being said, though, you don't know why they would want to risk liability over the one guy. So let me explain something to you. And someone made me aware of this, which I appreciated. So another interesting thing about Telegram would be tribute. Someone made me aware of this. Thank you to that person. If you would like ever a shout out about some of the stuff you've told me, I will give it to you. And if not, privately know that this was very helpful. It went in my writ, actually. So Tribute is a company, or not, it's not a company, it's a bot that Telegram uses. And they take like 10% of the profit from when a content creator needs help with managing their subscribers better and things like that, managing their content. They make money off of that. So Goatis, whose content includes things like incest equals monogamy, and whose content includes things like directing people from YouTube to Telegram in order to commit the crime of doxing, extortion, suggesting that people visit people who are being doxed, their home addresses or business addresses, and pay them a visit and give them a bloody good time to show him true natural respect. These two cases tie together between YouTube and Telegram, especially since some of the activities cross over. So this is illegal activity and raising money in scams. Nobody is being charged with kidnapping. Last time I checked, there's no kidnapping charges been filed on Diane. So there's no kidnapping lawyer needed or being hired, and we all know that. And there's no child molestation charges against anyone, although you seem to love the idea of molesting and raping your own child being something that's normal and natural. You said it for years, so I don't think you're worried about anything like that. So that's a scam, and scams are illegal. So these illegal scams alone could cause them to have to pay out the wazoo, the FTC. YouTube right now, they lost a case against the FTC, and it's over something much milder than this. It's just data protection. Like the information of minors was not protected well enough, they decided, and it was enough people that it's $170 million that YouTube is having to pay the FTC. So they don't like FTC fines. In fact, one of the things that got that attorney really interested when I was the first time I talked to her is I said something about scams, and she said, "Whoa, what scams?" And you could tell she started writing something down. So they don't like the idea of that. That's a litigious thing for them, and it involves a lot of money. So that alone is bad enough. Let alone if this person goes out and unalives someone. So one thing I'm not going to take off the table with Telegram, this is something I really wanted you to know, is that because of the ECPA laws that state that if someone is in danger, imminent danger of serious harm or death because of something or someone, then the social media company is obligated by way of law to go and report that to law enforcement and turn over any content that could help capture that person and stop these imminently dangerous events from taking place. So that being the case, that applies to both cases. I took it off the table with YouTube and Google, at least for this investigation. I could put it back on if we have to litigate, but I'm leaving it on for Telegram, and I'm citing that law as why. So they, not only am I asking that they deplatform Goatis elections, but that they turn over any information they have to law enforcement that could be helpful in the investigation. And we are talking about that they have an endangered child with them too. All their Section 230 protections are gone because of all of this. And all they have to have is awareness. They don't have to have a court order. Everybody goes on and on about how great it is. Telegram said that they're going to comply with law enforcement now. They always should have their terms of service say that they will. But with regard to this law that's part of 18 U.S. Code, the ECPA, they have to do something about anything they're aware of and know is a fact and decide it is imminently dangerous without a court order. And that's a matter of law. So we're going to bring that to their attention as well. Oh yeah, I wanted you to know something interesting too was that they're asking me for $400 for the Mandamus action. So I don't know if that is a mistake or not, but we're not litigating it yet, but we'll see. From what I read, they actually can try to get me to pay for the initial case itself. So we'll see. But another thing I was thinking is that if we did have to litigate either of these cases, these are now such good cases, and the law is so ironclad on what I found. I think there would be some attorneys that would be interested in taking the case and helping me. So that would be cool. Only thing that I wouldn't like, of course, would be if somebody, one of two things, either they were working against me and I thought that they were working in favor of me, but they were helping the company, or if they were just not as vested, didn't have as much of a vested interest in it as I do, didn't care about the outcome as much, and didn't do their best, that would bother me. But I think one that did want to do the right thing, that would really be helping me, it would be great because it could keep things from happening, like dumb little procedural errors and just things that I wouldn't know about. And it might make the situation with the state to state interaction easier as well. And you're more, let's just be real, you're more respected if you have an attorney working on your case, even if it's a horrible one. And the attitude towards pro se litigants is not exactly one of, yay, come on in here with your lawsuit, we think you're great. It's more of, oh my God, it's another one of these pro se litigants. Oh shit. So basically, just to remind everybody, what the purpose of all this is that, it's not just a matter of, ha ha ha, your YouTube channel got taken down. We don't like you because you're a horrible person and you did something horrible. We want your channel down. We want them apprehended, both of them, because they have a child with them. And once I knew that they really have a child with them, that's really disturbing. And then we know that there's one that they want unalived and tried to unalive 3 times. And we know that there's a woman that, it's not that we only care about children. I think Diane has a right to live and be a mother to her son also. That's all she's asked for, is to be left alone. So since these people can't do that, they need to be made to do that. And those 2 people, Diane and her son, can't have any peace until they're caught. And there is an innocent child with them. Would you want to have them for your parents? I mean, I'm almost going to cry thinking about that because, that's, it's not her fault that those are her parents. And we're supposed to be better than that. We treat individuals like they have rights, even against their own parents if their parents are bad. And her parents are very bad. So, and that's something that they should be looking at. They should have always been looking at that ever since someone made them aware of that. And that's a matter of law too. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get them. She's considered actually a missing child by way of law in Europe because she has two wanted fugitive parents and nobody knows where she is. So she would be removed from their custody upon them being found. That's very serious. Diane and her son also have a right to live. All Diane ever wanted was to raise her son in a safe environment and not have to battle a lunatic for the rest of her life and worry about him being murdered. That's not too much to ask last time I checked. So those are the reasons they need to be stopped, since they couldn't afford somebody the basic decency of leaving them alone. And they still aren't. And as long as they're out there, those two people aren't safe. And anyone that's gone against him isn't safe. So I feel like I have a personal interest in it now. I think also all kinds of people wouldn't be safe. Read Catherine's affidavit. Sometimes Catherine actually told the truth. And she said that he wants to hurt other people, including babies. So, and he tells us that all the time. Sometimes people tell you exactly who they are. So this isn't all right. It's a crime, very serious crime involving children. So we want these people apprehended more than anything else. Deplatformed is the road to apprehended. They won't have an income. The other part of this equation is Annette. Annette would be the other major source of funding